Well, everybody's asking one question right now. Have we seen the bottom of the market? And is the market going to go back to its previous high? Well, a lot of people think that we're all going to kind of romping out of lockdown and everything's going to be the same. And the economy is going to pick up within, by the sound of it, days, weeks, and it's all going to go back to normal. And basically, the economy is not going to miss a beat, because for it to go back to where it was before the virus, it has to go back to where it was before the virus. Now, I think that's stark raving bonkers, because I think the damage is very, very deep. It's not just me. All the old hands, all the business people are absolutely freaking out. And you can see them on the web going, oh, it's all over, it's all over. Oh, it's terrible. Now, either normal people are really, really right about the economy, and all the people, old hands at the markets, old hands at running businesses, are completely wrong for it to go back up to that previous high and things to go back to normal really quickly. Now, if they don't go back to normal really quickly, and we come out and the world is different, the market's going to go back down to where it came from. Now, my rule of thumb since the beginning of this has been, if you reopen in May, it's going to be bad. If you reopen in June, it's going to be terrible. If you reopen in July, August, it's going to be over. Now, the trouble is, even though everyone's going for this end of lockdown, it's going to get staged. So what's your average going to be as far as the ending point? It's looking like it's going to be June or July, which is pretty dramatically bad, in my opinion. Now, if they mess up closing these lockdowns, if they botch it, we're going to get a 1929, 1932 scenario. And there, the market lost 82% of its value. You're looking at the FTSE being at 1,500. Now, if you look at that chart from 1929 to 1932, it's very similar to the dot-com crash as well. You have this initial strong bounce. It looks exactly like the one we're getting right now. And that's because everybody at that point was in denial about what the Wall Street crash was all about. And then things were botched later on. But the domino effect of the 1929 crash is what caused that fall to a low in 1932. Now, that's not going to happen this time, but 80% of UK GDP is services. And how services have been affected by the lockdown and will continue to be affected by the lockdown. Tourism is 10% of GDP in the UK. It's hard to imagine that the market's going to go more than this, let alone not fall back really slow. And you have to be pretty bullish to imagine that it won't make that classic W shape of the crash. And it won't keep going down, because where's the tax revenue coming from to pay for all these public services? Through huge debt? What does that do? Does that create huge inflation? So that is a real issue for me right now, that the market is very strong. And I'm expecting it to fall away next month. And I'm expecting it to revisit the previous lows by September. But there's a 50-50 chance that we're going to see a crash which has not been seen before, apart from the dot-com crash for techs in 1929. Because if this damage continues for the next couple of months, it's really going to be very, very hard to come back from that, and it will take years. Now, oil, everyone wants to know about oil. Well, oil's not going to be free. You're not going to be paid to take away oil in due course. But, of course, it's not going to be $10 a barrel either, because production will just be cut. And I see that going back to sort of $30, $40 zone over a period of a year or two. And gold, what's that going to do? Well, if they print all this money and they don't collect tax, there's going to be hyperinflation. Now, that's a good position for people who want to own gold. But Bitcoin is like gold squared. And as you can see now, people are already starting to panic a little bit about inflation, and they're piling into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, gold, if you believe in the inflation story, that's where you want to be. If you want to be in stocks, better be sure that when everybody comes romping out of lockdown, that they're not going to find a wasteland and go, oh no, I need to sell. I think that's highly likely, and we'll probably be seeing that in the next few weeks.